Hello everyone, hi, my name is Mohammed Ali, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to Project IDX, Google's VS Code competitor that Google has recently introduced to the developer community. Right now it is in the wishlist status, so you have to apply in the wishlist, and whenever your name will come up, Google will invite you to try out this IDE. The great thing is that I have got access to this IDE, and when I tried that out, I found out that right now at the moment, Python, Go, and Docker is not by default supported. So you have to configure them, and configuring them is a real mess. So I invested a lot of time and effort into doing this, and now I am coming to you in order to introduce you in a very simple manner how you can try that out as well, how you can play with it and do your assignments and projects in it. So what's the catch? Why another ID? Why Google is offering? So what used to happen previously that developers who were working on iOS applications needed Mac PC. Why? Because on Mac there's application named Xcode, and they used to have this application in order to create prototypes. But now Google is offering this IDE in which there are built-in iOS and Android simulators. So the best thing is that now you don't need a Mac PC in order to try things out, especially develop your own iOS applications. You can develop them right in your browser without messing around with anything, without buying any Mac hardware. So um, so the thing is that okay, iOS applications good, Android applications good, but what about the Python guys? What about machine learning people? Is there anything that they can do with this ID? So as I said earlier, that right now Python, Go, Docker, they are not directly supported, but Google says that very soon they will introduce them as well. But I thought like, why to wait? So that's why I digged in, and I invested a lot of time and effort into figuring things out, and now I'm coming to you guys in order to introduce you to this IDE and how you can run your own Python projects, how you can play with Docker, how you can run your own API inside this IDE. So let's jump towards the demo part. Okay, so here we are. So the ID is called Project IDX, and the website is idx.google.com. When you will first come here, it will say join waitlist, and you have to then join the waitlist. Fortunately, I have gained the access to this ID. So when I will sign in here, like I have already signed in, but when you will sign in here, you are going to see this kind of home page where there are multiple options that you can either create your own new web app. You can either create your own Flutter app. So those who don't know, Flutter is a solution by Google that allows you to create both iOS and Google and Android applications. And then there's new blank workspace, so you can create your own like workspace, and in it you can configure your own softwares, your own packages and stuff. And then import a repo. So import a repo means like if you have a GitHub repository, you can directly fetch all the files in it, and then you can play around and play with your files and create amazing stuff. And then here it says Python, Go, AI, and more coming soon. But at the moment, they are not available directly. So either you have to configure, or you have to find out ways that can help you in creating such kind of workspaces for you that supports your use cases. So okay, so right now, when you will gain the access, it will allow you to create two workspaces at a time. So let's create another workspace. So I am going to choose a new blank workspace for us. And now when you will click on new blank workspace, it is going to give you some option. Okay, but before jumping towards creating our new blank workspace, I just remembered that why not to show you around about other things as well. So if you click here on new web app, you will find HTML, JS, CSS, but as this ID is primarily I'm thinking that it is primarily targeted to front-end engineers. So you have Angular, you have React framework, you have Next.js, as well. Okay, and if you come here inside the new Flutter app, then if you will click here, you will gain the you will get the opportunity to use iOS and Android simulators as well. Same thing is with the GitHub repo. Like, you can directly import your GitHub project repository directly into this IDE. It will create a workspace for you, and you can select your project type, whether it is going to be just web or a Flutter project. And then here is our new blank workspace. So if you click here, then you have to enter your project name. Let's say we are going to say demo web app. Okay, and now we are going to create this demo web app, and it is going to take a few moments in order to set up our workspace, prepare the virtual machine for us, build out the environment, and then finalize. So in the end, what we are going to see is a VS Code like instance that will allow us to create projects and work remotely on cloud without worrying about whether any configuration will mess up our local computer or not. So everything will remain in browser. So you can you can be worryless about what you are going to do and how it is going to create a mess. So try things out, build amazing projects. This is my personal recommendation. So just give me a moment, and it is going to finalize very soon. So it just takes this much time only for the first time, and later on when we will see, it is not going to take that much time when we will make changes to it. Okay, so this is kind of like a environment that we will get here. So if you will click on files, you are going to get this .idx folder, and that's it. This is a blank workspace. Okay, now when I will open a terminal, so you can either use Control tilde, or you can click here and then come to terminal and then click on terminal. Okay, and here when you are going to type Python, what it is going to do, and then I am typing the version just to show you that what version we are using. So we are using 3.11.5 version, and when you will type Python, it is going to allow you use Python. But Ali, you said Python is not right now directly available. Yes. Why? Because let's say if you want to configure another Python version, or if you want to use another Python version, so you have to configure that. It is not directly available to you to choose which Python version you want to install in your workspace directly. Okay, so let me exit this. And Ali, if Python is there, so it means like maybe Python package manager is there as well, like pip. So if I press enter, so it is saying that pip is not installed. So pip will not come directly with this workspace. Okay, same thing goes for conda. Okay, so conda is not available as well. So how we can do any Python project without installing any package from pip or conda? How we can play with this workspace? So for other guys, this workspace is of no use as of now, but thanks to you, since you are watching my video, so I'll show you how you can utilize this workspace and how you can play with it and install all the applications and run your own very API, and then create a Docker file and then run your Docker file as well to test it out. Okay, so let's start from here. If you click here, you are going to get dev.nix file. Okay, this is basically the configuration file for us. Now the thing is, what is Nix and why we are playing with this? So basically Nix is an operating system. Basically Nix OS is an operating system, and Nix is a package manager, just like any other Linux package manager like apt-get, so or DNF or yum. So Nix is just a package manager that helps you install packages, and Nix OS is the operating system that is built around Nix package manager. And this is just another flavor of Linux. So this is Linux that we are using right now. Okay, so here's the configuration file for us, and plus I will give you the reference. If you want to learn more about Nix as well, you can you can find it more details here in this documentation. Okay, so here is a basic configuration file that we can use in order to configure our workspace as per our liking that we want. Okay, so first of all, here you can see that that pkgs.python3, so packages.python3. This is how you can introduce packages here. So basically, Nix OS has this packages page where you can search around 80,000 packages. Okay, and plus, and here you can find out a lot about either Python or other supportive packages, and I believe npm as well. So yes, here is node.js, and so there are a ton of packages here. So we doesn't need to worry about packages, but the thing is how to configure them and whether they will work or not. I think it is highly dependent on the package and how the Nix is how this workspace configuration is going to take it. But fortunately, with respect to Python, I have come across some amazing packages that can really work for us. So if you want to just install Python, you can uncomment this. That will come directly for you, but it will install I believe it is going to install 3.10 for you. Okay, but let's say if you want to install another version for yourself, let's say pkgs dot. So what kind of versions that you can use for your own file? Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so another thing that you can use is that just come here. We don't need these anymore. Okay, so just come here and type out Python, okay, 3, and press enter. So it is going to list down packages that are supportive. So here is 3.9, here is 3.8, and here is 3.13, here is 3.12, here is 3.10. So you can play around with these, but I would recommend you to select the Python version that you are really confident of, that yes, it is going to support all of the libraries and packages that you require. So let's say like Python 3.8. So in order to install Python 3.8, you have to come here and it is going to open up here. So so here you are going to see these three options. So you have to come to the second one, next OS configuration, and here you can see how to call this package. So just you have to write pkgs.python 3.8. So come here and type Python 3.8. Okay, so and what about Ali Go? So just uncomment this and it will install Go for you as well. Okay, let's say you also want to install pip for your Python installation, for your Python package installation. So you can come here and type pkgs Python. Now 3.8 does not have a pip support here at the moment. I tried to explore it, but I didn't find. So what I found was that Python 3.11 and Python 3.10 both have pip like package manager here. So you can come and type 3.10 packages.pip. Okay, and it is going to install the package pip for you, the package manager pip for you, that will have a direct support with Python 3.10. But I am going to show you another good way that that will require you to just use one thing and it will solve your problem. You don't need to like install this pip package manager here. So just comment this out and let's go with this. So here you can see there's this button, rebuild environment. So every time you will make a change and save it, here you have to rebuild the environment, but this time it is not going to take that much time. And because behind the scenes there's Linux VM, and I believe there's a container that they are calling VM, and what it is going to do, it is going to just change one layer rather than changing the whole workspace. So click on rebuild environment, and in a moment or two it is going to build our environment for us. Okay, so I mean, feel free to feel free to skip this part and move around a little bit so that you can cover up the time, but fortunately it is done now. Okay, so now when we open up our terminal, and now when we are going to type Python and check our version, it is going to return us 3.8 rather than 3.11. Okay, so 3.8 is now, I mean, a normal Python version that supports like mostly like majority of the packages, so I prefer going with this version. Okay, but this was one way of showing you that you can play around and play with things, and you can install your Python versions like this. And plus about the Go, so just type Go and press enter, and here you can play with Go as well. So Go and Python installed. Now what about the pip part? Okay, so about before going towards the pip part, let me just quickly give you the overview of what these things are doing, and then we will see like how we can use them in order to either fetch the right extension for our application to test, and how we can configure the preview so that we can see that whether our API is giving the right response or not. And then we will go towards the pip part, pip configuration, and then API and Docker. So here's the environment variable. So here you can introduce your own environment variable that you want to save. For example, if I press enter and type hello, let's say, and I give it a string world, it should be double quotes. Yes, world and semicolon. Okay, now it is saying to rebuild environment, but I don't want to waste your time in this again. So this is how we are going to introduce environment variables. Now for the extension part, just enter here. So how this thing is working, so this thing requires the publisher ID and the extension ID. Okay, and here it is using open-vsx.org. So what this website is, this website is an open repository, the open registry of VS Code extensions that you don't need to go to VS Code marketplace, and you can it is an open source project, and you can explore it and find great extensions here free of cost. So one extension that we are going to use for testing our REST API is going to be REST client. Okay, here is the REST client. Click on it, and now one easy way of finding the publisher ID and the extension ID is by looking at the URL. So Humao, I believe I'm pronouncing right, so is the publisher ID, and the REST dash client is the extension ID. So we are going to copy it from here and come here, and then again we are going to open up double quotes and then remove this slash with dot. So so publisher ID and then extension ID. Okay, this is it. And then about the preview. Okay, so what preview will allow us, preview will allow us to check our API, and in other front-end projects, it allows you to check your app, and you can see hot reloading feature here, that whenever you are going to do any change in your code, it is going to directly reflect in your browser, in the iOS or Android simulator or web simulator as well. Okay, so at that part, we have to now fill up quickly some things. I'll tell you what they are. So basically idx.previews, so we are enabling it, and then we are configuring our previews. Okay, so it is going to be a list, and inside the list we have to open curly braces, and then we have to type command, then we have to open another list. So basically what this command is going to do, this command is going to take the command that it is going to use when at the very final stage, when you are going to call the preview. So semicolon, then cwd, and here we are going to enter the current working directory in which you want this IDX to find out the file that you want to preview. Okay, so if you come here and just type pwd and press enter, you are going to get the address of our current working directory. This is called present working directory in Linux. So come here and here, and just paste this and press semicolon, and then press enter, and then come here and type manager is equals to web. So basically we want web preview, that's why we are giving web here, and ID is going to be web. Okay, and then this is completely optional. If you want, you can give environment variables here as well. Again, the format is going to be similar like above. Okay, and that's it. So now we have to close it. So first of all, we have to close the environment variable, and then we have to close this list. Yes, and I believe everything is fine. Yep, so all good. So what we have, again a short review, what we have done, we have configured the preview so that we can look at our API testing part, and here we are using the IDX extension that we are going to need. We will see that REST client will get installed automatically here, that we will use in order to test our API. And here we have learned how to set environment variables, and here we have learned how to install Python, which we want, not the one that is given to us, and Go as well. Okay, now one of the most important part of this demo is going to be placed at top after channel. So this one command is going to allow us to use Docker inside our this workspace. So you can use services dot docker dot enable equals to true, and then semicolon. Okay, so what this one line will do, this one command will allow us to use Docker, and as it is going to enable the Docker service for us. Okay, and if you are curious how I have learned about these things, and so it required a lot of research, but one good place to start with is the Project IDX documentation. I won't say it is the best documentation that I have read, but it is like okay, like it is like kind of good, that a good place to start, and then you have to dig a little bit deep and to find out things and how they are going to work and what is the right format also. So the good part is here in this one video you have learned how to configure your Project IDX workspace. Okay, so my aim was that you don't have to invest and to be honest, like I have invested, so if you will use your time again on this learning configuration, then it is going to be a wastage. So that's why my aim was to save you from wasting your time and learn in this video how to configure this. So now we are going to just click on rebuild environment, and again it is going to make few changes to our environment and include the updates, and then it will finalize and give us the updated version of our workspace. So either wait a while or just move a little bit, just move the slider a little bit so that you can continue from where I have started. Fortunately, it again got started here. Okay, so give it a moment. Okay, so now our workspace is configured, so we can start with the coding part, and we can start with programming part, and we can program the solution that we require. Okay, here you can see the web preview opened up, but at the moment we are not interested in looking at it. We will explore it later on. Okay, so and we won't directly be touching the web preview part because our main concern is with testing the API, so we will test it and try out things. But feel free to explore web preview, how to configure it, how it works. And my personal recommendation will be to start with HTML and JavaScript option rather than going from the very blank workspace of yours. Okay, so coming here, now we are done with configuring our IDX workspace. So close this folder, and now we are going to create our requirements.txt file. So requirements.txt file is going to hold the the libraries that we are going to use in our this demo. So we are going to use two. First of all, we are going to use FastAPI. Sorry, I got blank. And then we also need UVCon to run our FastAPI. So we are going to need these two things. I have saved by pressing Ctrl S, and I have closed it. Now what we have to do, we have to first of all configure Python and pip, and then we are going to create our FastAPI, and then we are going to create our Docker file, and then we will run and test them. So open the terminal. Again, you can use Control tilde if you're using Windows, or just come here and then come here on terminal and click on Control Shift and I believe what this is called, I don't know. So just click on this thing and it is going to open the terminal for you. Okay, on the demo again. So how to configure this web app, this workspace, so that we can use our API and Docker. Okay, so first of all, the easiest way to use pip in this scenario is by using a virtual environment. So Python allows you to create separate virtual environments in which your packages and all the stuff for your project will remain, and out of which everything will remain untouched. So if anything breaks, it will break inside that virtual environment, and your PC won't get affected. Okay, so how to create a virtual environment here? Simply type Python and type -m, then type vnv, and then type the name of your virtual environment, let's say my vnv here. Okay, and then press enter. Give it a moment. Okay, so here you can see our my env folder appeared. Now we have to activate our environment. So type source, and then we are going to type my vnv, and then bin, and you don't need to type like the whole name. Just for example, I'm going to type act and press tab, and it is going to fill up the whole name for you. Okay, autocomplete, and then you have to press enter, And now you can see that my env is appearing inside parentheses. It means our Python environment is now activated. So remember last time when I typed pip, so it was throwing error, but now when I will type pip, it is not going to throw any error, and it is going to show you the documentations and the commands that you can use. It means that pip is now configured, so we can start working on our installations. So type pip install -r requirements.txt. Okay, so what this command is going to do, this command is going to install the packages, the two packages that we have listed in our requirements.txt file, FastAPI and uvcon, in one go. So just come here and press enter, and you see the installation is happening. Okay, so let me clear this up, and the installation is now done. So now we can move ahead and create our API file. So I am going to click on new file, and I'm going to name it main.py. Okay, because FastAPI is Pythonic. And now in the main.py we are going to write down one of the world's simplest API ever. So first, from FastAPI we are importing FastAPI, and then FastAPI, and then app equals to FastAPI. Okay, so here we have created the instance, and now we are going to use app.get. So we are using a get method, and then we are mentioning slash, which means the home page. And then let us create, okay, and then I am creating this function read underscore root that is not going to take any parameters, and it is going to return hello world. Again, this thing should be in double quotes. Okay, and then I am mentioning if name equals main. Okay, when this thing is called, then you import uvcon, and then you run uvcon. Okay, call the app instance from here, and then use host, and host is going to be local host, so 0.0.0.0, right, 4 zeros. And then port, by default FastAPI uses port 8000, so I am giving it the default port. So in summary, your FastAPI is going to look like this, in 11 lines with the spaces as well. Okay, so I am pressing Ctrl S to save this file. Now our FastAPI is ready. So just I am hovering terminal up, and then after moving terminal up, let's just run this FastAPI. So I am going to type uvcon, and then main :app uvcon, go to main, and then use app instance, and then -- reload. Sorry for my mistake. And -- reload. So what this -- reload will do, whenever we will change anything, it is going to auto update it. This is called hot reloading. So press enter, and our uvcon engine is now started, and our FastAPI is now returning us status 200. Okay, so our get request is working fine. Okay, so Ali, how to check whether this thing is working not from just terminal? Is there any other way visually that we can see? Of course. So remember in dev.next file, we installed this extension REST client. Okay, so if you come here on extension, you can, and by the way, behind the scenes it is also using this OpenVSX registry. So in the extension part, you can see the REST client, and by default it is already installed. Okay, it is already installed thanks to mentioning here in this dev.nix file. Okay, so how is it, how does this work? So you have to create a new file here, and the new file is called myrequests.http. Okay, so this is going to be your myrequest.http file, inside which you have to type get, and then you can use data from here, like from here. So you can come here and just right click, so it will copy and directly paste it here. Okay, and now you have to add slash, because remember we use get slash here. You can see get slash, and then you have to just copy this from here and come here and paste it. Okay, so get, and this is the local host, go to port 8000, and this is HTTP protocol and /1.1. and now you when you will click on send request, you will see this preview opening, and here you will see the status 200 OK, date, and the server, and the content length, what type of content is there, and here is the hello colon word. So here's the key and value. This is the JSON. Okay, so that is written by our API. Okay, so this is the response. We requested and we got this response. Okay, Ali, so okay, we have seen that yes, our API is working. Now is there any way that we can use Docker as well and run our API inside the Docker? Yes, of course, and while remaining on this ID. Okay, so let me clear things up. So now let's go towards the Docker part. So for that we have to create a Docker file here. So let me create a, so we don't want Docker file to be here, we want it here. So just click here, and now you can type Docker file. So this is just like VS Code now. So when you have typed Docker file, it is going to create a Docker file for you, but this section is for testing, so let's bring it here. But here we have to close these files, we don't need them anymore. Yes, so now we can work on Docker file here. And okay, what this is, so this IDE is also offering a great thing called IDX AI. So AI is integrated into this IDE, so we can use AI as well to support us. Okay, so either we can directly give instructions to ADI, to our AI here, or what we can do, we can, let's say, close this. Okay, so let me yes, so here if I continue, what is going to happen, that Google is asking that they are going to look at my code, and so there's this privacy issue. So they are telling you that if you are going to use this IDX AI feature, then you have to compromise on your code. And if you get access to this ID, feel free to check this out, but I am good without of it. So just canceling it and opening the Docker file again. And now quickly let's code our Docker file. So from Python, we are using Python base image, and then 3.9 slim, and then we are mentioning our working directory. This is going to be app, and then we are copying our requirements .txt file from dot means present. So from this directory, our requirements.txt file will get copy to /app, and then run pip install -r requirements.txt. So what will happen, that when this requirements.txt file is going to be copied to /app directory inside our container, then this command will be run. And then when this command will get run, what will happen that the two libraries that we are going to use are going to be installed inside our container. And then use copy and then dot and dot. So copy everything from here and then paste it from in here, and then expose port 8000. So our container port 8000 will get open up. So what will happen when our API will run, we can access it from our Docker containers port 8000. And finally run this command. So uvcon that this is the same command that we used in order to run our FastAPI. Main :app and then comma and then --host, then comma, then 0.0.0, and then you have to mention the port. Sorry, yes, and now yes, --port, comma, and then port 8000. Perfect. So this is the Docker file that we are going to use in order to run our simple FastAPI inside our container. So Control S to save it, and then simply close this file and then open up the terminal again, move it up. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to build this Docker image for us that will contain our FastAPI, and then we are going to run our Docker container using the image that we will create now. So in order to create the image, we are going to use docker build -t my -FastAPI -app, and then dot means here, okay, present. So press enter, and it is now creating our Docker image for us. The name of the Docker image is like we have given this tag, so we are going to find my -FastAPI -app. Okay, now it is installing all the dependencies that we require. Okay, now the copying stuff, now the port expose, now it is exposing the port, and now it is running the last command. Okay, so now everything is working fine. Like so now our image is ready, like and now when we will use the Docker container, we will run our Docker container, then this command is going to be utilized. Okay, right now you can consider image as a template, that we have created a template. Now when we will run our container, then that kind of template is going to be utilized. So clear this up, and now let's first find our Docker images. You can type and then press enter, and then here you are going to find our my -FastAPI -app image. Okay, good. So now what we are going to do, we are going to run our Docker container. So I am typing docker run -t -p, and then type port 8000 : so what is happening here, that first we are mentioning the port on which we will we are going to access our FastAPI. So the port on of this machine that we are using, right? And then we are going to mention the port 8000 of our Docker container. So from our Docker container, you can consider like our Docker container port 8000 is going to be mapped at our current machine's port 8000. Okay, and then we are going to mention the image name of ours, which is my -FastAPI -app, and then we are going to press enter, and voila, our Docker container is now ready, and we can access the API that is running inside of our Docker container. How? Simply again by double clicking here and then sending a request. So when you will send a request, you can see 200 OK. Though no API is running on our machine, but inside our Docker container, that is our Docker container is running at the moment. If you type docker ps, you can see the Docker container ID. Okay, and this Docker container is running, and thanks to this command and the code inside of our Docker container, we can use our API. Okay, and you can now deploy this Docker container on any platform. Okay, now the good thing is that, let's say, if you my purpose is educational, so if you don't understand, like still if you're not clear like why 8,000, so what you can do, you can simply stop this Docker container by typing docker stop, and just double click and right click to copy it and come here and then press enter. So it is going to stop our Docker container. Now if I clear this up and you will type docker ps, there's no Docker container running, right? So what you can do now, you can use up arrow key, and let us change the command that we use to run our Docker container here. So again, inside inside our container, the port 8000 is exposed. So the API can be reached at port 8000, but how we are going to have access to it, let us change this port, so you will get a better idea. So this is going to be the port of our machine. Okay, and then you have to come here and press enter. Okay, now when we will be calling the API, we have to change the port from 8000 to 8040. Okay, and then save this file and press send request, and here you can see that it is again giving you the response 200. Okay, so everything is fine. And if you make it small, you can see the response hello :world. So that's it. That was a brief overview of how you can configure your Project IDX Python workspace. Like you can configure Python and Go and Docker in your Project IDX workspace, and I hope you liked it. It took a real deal of efforts and time in understanding the stuff so quickly, and then like I mean, Project IDX is a very very recent like project. So if you will really have a mastery, then I can say, like, if you will at least give it a try and build some projects, you are going to be the first people who are going to like use Python in order to work on Project IDX. So I hope you have liked this effort, and if you like this effort, then please do consider subscribing and liking this video. Please do share it with others so that other people can be aware of Project IDX and how great it is. So it is giving you a great machine to freely work on and play with it. And the best part is, if anything breaks, like if you mess up with something, no worries, you can create another project workspace for you and you can delete it. Okay, and other benefits is that thanks to Google offers direct Firebase deployment option here. So if you want, you can connect your Firebase project and directly deploy your code to Firebase directly within this IDE. Then you can also commit your source code and plus publish it on GitHub directly from this ID. You don't need to go to any place else or worrying about like you have to worry about configuring it or stuff. So that was a brief overview. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video with something amazing very soon. Till then, take care. Bye.